Call Lo Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakak Kadash. That is all praises to the Most High in the name of the Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit, in the Paleo Hebrew. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and are indeed the true world leaders on the planet, just as the prophets of old were, going into your Daniels, all right, Joseph's, just to name a couple. And salutation to the hopeful Lekakium. I want to get into the weakening state of the American dollar, which also is going to affect the global economy, okay? And how this is prophecy for what would come before the end, okay? The full weakening state of Egypt, modern day Egypt being Babylon, okay? When you look in the scriptures about how the Most High has laden this place with thick clay. Well, he's to the point where this nigga has laden himself in thick clay, which goes into his debt, all right? The whole American monetary system is built off of debt, a debt-based system, okay? And ultimately, it's this whole fucking American economy is a fucking Ponzi scheme, all right? They're borrowing money from the Federal Reserve, okay? Which in part it, means that they're owned by the Federal Reserve, okay? That's why this place is not a country anymore. It's a fucking corporation. All right? Warning issued for the petrodollar. Refusal to use the greenback for oil payments around the world could undermine the U.S. economy, a former White House official has said. Okay? And we keep hearing about these rumors and reports of the weakening state of the American economy. Okay? Because it's according to biblical prophecy. The Most High is gonna throw down all the world powers going back from the Babylonian Empire, just as was interpreted by Daniel, okay, the dream of Nebuchadnezzar of the statue that represented the world powers, okay? And we've seen that 3 of them, well, you can say 4, but the third being a conglomerate, and even the second being a conglomerate as well, Medo-Persian. But we'll just say 3 major, going into the Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, and the Greco-Roman Empire, have passed, okay? Those empires have risen and fallen, and the current world regime, which is the feet and the ankles, feet, and toes of that statue, being the current empire that we're in, was the weakest material, okay? Meaning, what is the name of like gold, silver? I believe those are called different raw materials. Let's see, Slovakia. Of like gold, silver, bronze. What is that? They're metals, okay? They're metals, but the clay, the miry clay that the feet consisted of, I guess you can call that. It's a material, okay? Or you can just call it a substance, all right? But basically the makeup of those toes was the clay, all right? Let's get that in the spirit. Okay, this is in Daniel 2:43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Salakia, let's go up just a couple precepts. It says in Daniel 2:40, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron breaketh all these, shall break in pieces and bruise. Okay. Here it goes. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as that thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Okay. Going into the clay, going into America and the current conglomerate of rulership, going into NATO and the EU, okay, America and its allies, is laden with thick clay, just as the precept reads, okay, which goes into debt. All right. And we know that those Ponzi schemes, a debt system, is destined to fall. Okay. It's actually structured to implode, because eventually that debt is going to get called in. And that's what you have with this fucking IOU note. All right. That is backed by nothing. It's not worth the paper it's printed on. Isn't back at 2:6, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? And that's what you can liken debt into. You're buying shit with another man's money. That goes into how of the mortgage. He that buildeth a house with another man's money or stones or resources gathereth stones for the tomb of his burial. Okay, going into the mortgage, you're over here. It's really you're obtaining something by resources that aren't yours. All right. It says, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And it's crazy because just as the ruler is, so are the people. One of the main things that the majority of these fucking people do out here is buy shit with money they don't have. Okay. They have all different type of credit lines, and they're buying shit that they could have never afforded otherwise. All right. From entertainment centers in their home to vehicles. All right. Different toys, ATVs, fucking motorcycles. Okay. Your home. All right. Your vacation crib. All right. The cabin in Tahoe. All right. We know these things, man. We had the displeasure of growing up around this shit. All right. And that's one of the standards of America. It's a debt-based system. This place is about to fucking implode, man. All right. See, I didn't even mean to get those precepts. But how this whole place was structured, it's gonna have a very fucking devastating collapse, man. All right. to the people to go from plenteousness to complete fucking lack. All right? To having absolutely nothing, man. All right, it says, the U.S. is facing serious economic risks as more countries around the globe move away from the dollar in energy trade, according to former White House official Paul Craig Roberts. Roberts, who served as U.S. Assistant Secretary to the Treasury for Economic Policy during the Reagan administration, cautioned in an article published on Monday that the end of the petrodollar would have severe adverse effects to the value of the dollar, as well as on U.S. inflation and interest rates. And brothers have been prophesying for decades about hyperinflation. All right, the value of the dollar plummeting so low that your price of goods is going to go up thousands of percent. Okay. Eggs, which is normally fucking, well, shit, it used to be like $5-6, is going to be $50, $60, $500, $600, okay? Fucking, fucking massive is not even a word for the exponential increase of the pretty much the price of goods out here, man. All right, and we're seeing shades of that in the current time, from the fucking housing market to the price of everyday goods, fucking petroleum. Okay, it says. He pointed to Saudi Arabia's recent announcement that it was open to accepting payment for oil in currencies other than the dollar. According to Roberts, if that happens, the demand for dollars and the currency's value will fall. By billing for oil in dollars, the Saudis guaranteed Slovakia worldwide demand for the greenback, he explained. This is a major threat to Washington's power and to the financial power of American banks, the economist added. Okay. And what is an economist? Is a keeper of the house. All right. These are the people who are in charge of monitoring the complexion of the market. Okay. They're in charge of analyzing the climate of the economy, man. See? And all of them are trembling. All of them are revealing reports of steep and precipitous economic downturn across every sector in America, man. Did they not just have massive interest rate hikes at the Federal Reserve, further plummeting the value of the dollar and shortening its lifespan? Because let's get real, there's going to come into a point in time where this dollar reaches its intrinsic value, which is zero. Look it up. All right, this thing is, well, I believe that's what the debt clock is based on, or no, it might be that based on the nuclear missiles. But that's factored in. It says the doomsday clock. The clock hands are set by the bulletin of the atomic scientists, a group formed by Manhattan Project scientists at the University of Chicago, who helped build the atomic bomb but protested using it against people. The time of the clock is currently 90 seconds to midnight. Okay. So that's in reference to the missiles. But what's also in there is, factored into it is the economy, man. Okay. And this was all prophesied by the Heavenly Father. Whether it's manufactured or not, this collapse, the Most High prophesied economic downturn, global, all right, to the point where finances, all right, so-called fucking capital, whatever you want to call it, all right, all of the different forms of what they thought was money, all right, is gonna go fucking kaput. All right. Let's see. Roberts noted that for half a century, the petrodollar has supported the value of the U.S. dollar and ensured financing for America's large budget and trade deficits. The petrodollar supported the continuing role of the dollar as world currency after President Nixon closed the gold window in 1971, in effect ending the Bretton Woods system following World War II that gave the U.S. dollar the reserve currency role. Okay? So this is essentially the only thing that's propping up this dollar is the fact that it's tied to petroleum, hence the term petrodollar, okay? Which is how oil is purchased on a global scale, all right? But if now these countries that have now always purchased this oil in petrodollars are now dealing in other currencies in an actual attempt to damage the dollar, in an attempt to do away with it, okay? It's in essence, it's essentially destroying the value and even the purpose of the dollar at that point, because it just tells you it's not backed by the gold standard. All right, it's propped up by petroleum, and when just like this article is going into, you have these nations that are going away from that. What the fuck is the dollar going to be worth? Okay, like that term, the phrase that was coined by these economists. At that point, the intrinsic value of the dollar is going to reach the dollar is going to reach its intrinsic value of zero, and that's what this whole devaluing is. It's gone down in value progressively since that time. Okay, every fucking 10 years, you see what I'm saying? Every generation, every 10 years, every year, every quarter, this dollar is being devalued, okay? And don't you think that it's going to reach a fucking point where it's completely devalued? Yes, it is, all right? We see that its buying power has plummeted, has decreased over time at an exponential rate. If you look at it in a chart, a graph, you'll see how steep that decline has been. For example, from the 50s to the 60s, inflation and the devaluing of the dollar wasn't as significant as it was from the 60s to the 70s, and then continuing on. For example, how much has inflation gone on from just say the 2010s, 2010 to 2020, to now 2020 and on, okay? Or even the 90s to the 2000s. For example, I was doing a little study with my old man. We were going into how much a house was or a car was in 1950, okay? And it was ridiculous. It's actually enraging for a man to see and witness and to go into and break down that type of oppression, man. It's fucking madness, all right? You can get a fucking car, badass car, that would now be like fucking 90K Cadillac for for a few $100s, man. All right. So the disparity is gargantuan, man. All right. So going back to these nations leaving the petrodollar, ultimately that's going into the prophecy as well. These nations laying a wound under Great Babylon. Okay. And this is all at the orchestration of the Heavenly Father, ultimately. Okay. Let me just blaze through this real quick. It says, however, according to Roberts, in recent years, Washington has so abused the dollar's reserve currency role with sanctions and asset seizes that many countries desire to settle trade imbalances in their own currencies. So they've done some fuck shit financially, right? Probably some unscrupulous dealings. And then, like it just said, sanctions and asset seizes. What kind of shit is that? Probably under false pretenses. Okay. It says, in order to escape Washington's ability to threaten and punish them for serving their own interests rather than Washington's. Okay. So the sins and wickedness of America is being further revealed to where these nations don't even want to fuck with this place, man. And they're actually going to start to get fucking pissed off. That rage level is going to increase because they're going to realize how much you fucked off all peoples on this planet, man. That you were an adversary to all life and all peoples, man. Okay? And you stuck your abominable, filthy red pinky in all land masses of the earth and all peoples. Okay? So the article stated, look at this. Saudi Arabia ready to ditch dollar in trade, finance minister. It's another article. But finishing off, it says the article stated, if the Saudis do drop the petrodollar, Americans will face stiff inflation and high interest rates necessary to finance U.S. budget deficits, unless the Federal Reserve itself finances the deficits by printing money, which I went in the beginning who this place is owned by. Okay, the fucking bankers, the Federal Reserve. All right. Which is an elite clandestine order of, like they say in that QAnon, a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles, man. Okay. Who the world also knows as the IILL, okay? Naughty. And ill they are, man. Ill-gotten. All their gains and all their intentions for you are extremely ill. Okay, going back to that mal, that evil, man. See? It says, in that case, monetary inflation would be added to inflation caused by the drop in the dollar's foreign exchange value resulting from declining foreign demand for the greenback. Should this come to pass, the implication for the U.S. is massive austerity, Roberts warns. Okay? Which we know that them austerity measures, man, is fucking that vice grip. See? It's kind of likened into the draconian laws, man. Austerity, conditions characterized by severity, sternness, or asceticism. Okay. Austerity measures, samples. States introduce austerity measures aimed at curbing public deficits, revitalizing the economy, and gaining financial market confidence. So they're revitalizing the economy by charging the shit out of you, by gouging the absolute fuck out of the goods, out of you through the raising of the price of goods, man. Okay, it's actual like what do they call that? That's like exploitation, man. What's another word for that? Uh, Fuck. We'll leave it at that. Exploitation, amongst other things. All right. It says these measures include contradictory fiscal policies, cuts in public expenditure, selective tax hikes, pension reforms, and reductions in labor protection. So those shits are about to get rolled out in the course of events that are unfolding, man. The Most High has purposed this. This is in Ecclesiastes 12:3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Calm. And as aforementioned, the keepers of the house are your economists, your fucking your Roberts, or whatever that nigga's name was. Okay, over there trembling, that have monitored the economic forecast. Okay, the financial climate, and have determined that the dollar's on its way out. Okay, the U.S. dollar, the Federal Reserve note. You see, and these are efforts that these other nations are endeavoring as a priority one. Okay, it's also goes into the nakedness of this place being seen. That nobody wants dealings with this piece of shit anymore. Okay. It says the grinder ceases going into the labor market, which we just saw is going to take a massive fucking hit. All right. And actually has been. They've been doing mad layoffs already. That being associated with these interest rate hikes at the Federal Reserve. Basically, the money that America is borrowing from the bankers, from the global elite bankers at the Federal Reserve, that unlawful entity in on Jekyll Island, okay. That essentially just means that the money that's being borrowed by America, being borrowed from those elite bankers by America, that the fucking the interest on those loans just went up. And what does that mean? That means you're paying more. You're paying more on the principal, or on the amount that you borrowed. You're paying more for that money. Okay, it's complete fucking usury. But we know that that is in accordance with the Most High's plan. Okay, going into all those riches that he heaped to himself, that he's gonna have to vomit up. The Most High allowed this motherfucker to get built up so he can tear him down, man. Okay, and those that look out of the window be darkened goes into like we mentioned, pretty much your vision of the future is dark, meaning it's bleak. Okay, meaning in the forecast, fucking rain and an avalanche, a snowstorm is about to hit. All right, to cause devastation. This is in James 5:3. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days. Okay, so the currency, the financial instrument the economy of America is cankered, man. Okay, it's severely damaged. Let's get that for edification. It's cankered. To rust, to cover with rust, to corrode, to rust down, okay? So it's being broken down. Is that not exactly what's happening to the dollar in the form of its devaluation? Its value decreasing by the day, all right? Its buying power. It's being cankered, it's being corroded until it collapses. Huh? That's exactly the state of this fucking economy. It's so broken. All right. Slovakia. It's in. That's why they have all that, the whole thing called a quantitative easing, which is a lot of the things that they've been doing. It's like fucking putting band-aids on the economy, bailouts. You got, okay, the deregulation of these different financial institutions to allow them to do illegal, unlawful, unconstitutional shit with the citizen money. All right. Pretty much ultimately setting it up that deregulation of the banks and the financial institutions to fucking rob you people. Right blind under your fucking nose. All right. This is in Ezekiel 7 and 19. And ultimately, whatever currency that emerges on the scene, even the MOTB, the Most High is going to cause that to fucking fail. All right? He's going to cause everything to fail. And even like it says in Egypt, and every work thereof. That's what the Most High is doing right now. That's what's going down. Okay? This place is erring in every work thereof. It says, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. Okay? Because you did worship this money. Okay? These so-called riches and wealth. And disregarded and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay? That's really the pathology of the planet, of the inhabitants of the world. You know what their sickness is not acknowledging the Heavenly Father. Point big, period. All right? That's the primary purpose of every fucking creature on this planet, is to reverence and worship Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to the fullest extent. Okay, you have creation who purpose 24/7 is to give the Most High praise, honor, and glory. Okay? When you look at it, all of his creation is to give glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Fucking the trees, a fucking insect, okay, the animals, and indeed, the pinnacle of his creation to an extent, which is the complexity, the masterpiece of a man, okay, the masterpiece that is a person, a human, okay. But that's not going to be able to do anything for them, because it's the Most High's purpose to destroy this place and make these people feel it by pain. And ultimately, this is what is going to come about across the entire world. This is Proverbs 11:4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. What is going to be able to What are you going to be able to exchange for the judgment the Most High has prescribed for you in the form of the calamities that He has prophesied to bombard these societies with, and then ultimately the thermonuclear destruction, the death by fire? Like in Zechariah, it goes into, or is it Zephaniah? Your tongue melting away. Okay, that vicious, excruciating fucking judgment that a majority of the world is prophesied to experience, man. What can you pay? What amount on that ticket? Can you exchange? Can you redeem? Like they say, redeemable. When you look at currency, this can be redeemed here and there. What is the Most High gonna redeem that bread? Okay, absolutely not. It's not gonna profit you. Okay, and the Most High is gonna follow through in that destruction. And that's really this lesson, this fucking super L that the world is about to catch, and all the inhabitants thereof, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, and all these fucking infidels, and these heathens, and these wicked motherfuckers across this planet, man. Okay? The Most High has a big a lesson, and really a major loss, okay? Going into that death by pain and the weeping and gnashing of teeth. All right? This is going to be a massive teaching point, if you will, to show you how merciful how Bashim Yahushai is. He could just wipe you out, like it says. Fear not him that could destroy the body, but him that can destroy the soul and body in hell. He could just wipe out existence and remembrance of you and your whole line, man. Okay? You know how it talks about how we come back in the line of our fathers, okay? Our forefathers, okay? In the generations, in the third generation, he could make it to where he completely blots you out and your line. Okay? To fall in the hands of the living power, man. How dreadful it is. See, the massive teaching point. The Most High to show you His mercy, to show the world that dwelling in wickedness and operating in unrighteousness is sure destruction. Okay, and look at that. Look at that grace to allow them to be reincarnated in the kingdom, man. Okay. So with that, all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Rakakadash. We are indeed witnessing the collapse of society as the Most High prophesied in His Word, man. Okay. Shalom.